What it do, peeps? It's the Beat Chef for Watch the Damn Tape. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe button. Hit that bell to get notified when I drop my next video. To my new subscribers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy this show, and I hope you get something from the content. To my day ones, thank you for helping me build this platform and continue this WNBA conversation. Now, we've talked about revenue. We've talked about what the players want, the players' demands. We've talked about the owners. But we haven't really talked about the media and what the media wants, because the media is the other leg of this. And we talked about the NBA and their role in the WNBA, but we haven't really talked about the media. You got to understand, when you make an investment into a basketball league to cover them exclusively, as big as the media rights deal that the NBA and the WNBA got from the collective of Amazon, Universal, and Disney, you have to make that money back. You have to make, you want to make money off that investment. That $76 million that you put into that, you have to say, you have to look at that product and you say, okay, that NBA, we're good. We can market that. Advertisers, they'll pay. There'll be a bunch of beer commercials. You know, XYZ beer will come in and they're going to spend billions to advertise during these games. The same thing exists with the WNBA. But just imagine, it's like a car lot. If you ever been on a car lot and you see a car online, it's at a car lot, and you like it, and you look at the other cars and like, oh, they're okay. That's kind of like the WNBA. They got an exceptional car, it's Corvette, Caitlin Clark edition. They got a few other cars on the car lot. The Wnba Escort, Paige Becker's Porsche, Angel Reese Cadillac, so on and so forth. But the one thing that everybody keeps asking about is that Clark mobile, the Clark car. That's what they want. Everybody keep asking about this car. Everybody keeps coming to the lot to see this car. So ESPN is almost like a big ass car lot. But there's the twist. It's almost, have you ever worked at a job and a person really is trying to strive to be upper management? And it's like, damn, dude, man, if you just work, man, and just get there, and you got people that just go to work and go home. But you got this one guy, this one girl, man, they just going over the top, butt kissing, doing whatever it is to try to get that promotion. Everybody's worked with somebody like that. A media company, the network, is exactly the same way, but with the twist. It's almost like the movie Blade. And in Blade, there was 3 main groups of people. In Blade, there was vampires. You can say vampires are, in the WNBA, you can say they're the executives of the teams, the commissioner, and you can also say the executives of the networks, ESPN, so on and so forth. And then you got Blade, half human, half vampire, best of both worlds, all that, none of the strength, none of the weakness, you know all that stuff. But you got humans, regular folks. And in the humans, there was an interesting subset of humans called familiars. The familiar is a person that wants to be a vampire or wants the favor of a vampire. You kind of got them at your job. It's kind of like that same person. A familiar is that same person that keeps on just bugging your boss, and you like, damn, man, this dude wants either the boss's job or he just wants to be a supervisor at some point. That's a familiar. So if you just take it to the network world, imagine Caitlin Clark comes to the WNBA and she sets the world on fire, and she's that car that's sitting over there, and everybody's like, damn. But your boss tells you, hey man, you got to sell this league. We understand Caitlin Clark's great, but you got to sell this league. We got to get this money. we got to make this look good. We got to make this league look good because we need advertisers to want to buy time slots during these games. And if they only buy time slots during Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark is the it thing, we're going to lose and you're not going to have a job. So you better get out there and you better sell this product. You better sell that DeWanna Bonner Escort. You better sell that Angel Reese Cadillac. And that's when they get into used car salesman mode. And if you know used car salesmen, they are some crooked SOBs. So you get a Monica McNutt, you get a Chanae Wnba, you get a Lashina Robinson there. They're telling you about the greatness of Angel Reese. And oh, her rebounds, and oh, she's improving, and oh, she's possibly going to be the rookie of the year. And they're trying to sell you this, and you're scratching your head and you're looking, you're like, man, Angel Reese ain't hooping like y'all saying. What the hell are you talking about? And then you have Stephen A. Smith, who is also basically a familiar. But he's the top guy. He's the top familiar. And also understand, even in the comics and even in Blade, familiars know familiars. They all work for a vampire. So Stephen A. Smith is the highest familiar at ESPN. He makes the rising boats lift all tides, and the other familiars, they growl at him, attack him. Monica McNutt went left on him. Because at some point, they want to be Stephen A. Smith. They want to be a vampire, but they want to be that top familiar, that top dog. So while all this is going on, they're using race, the Bird versus Magic argument to propel the entire league. And if you notice, all last year, everything was around the entire league. The owner of the Washington Mystics said, why can't the entire league be on the cover? Why? And she kept saying that. Why does it have to be her? Why does it have to just be Clark? You don't hardly hear a vampire speak, but that was a vampire speaking when that owner said that. You just didn't know she was a vampire. When Kathy Engelbert said race was great for promotion and marketing, you hardly hear a vampire speak. Notice you haven't heard any of the owners hardly speak about anything, because vampires don't usually show themselves. But you will hear from a human. You will hear from a familiar, big time. So last year, all we heard was Caitlin Clark needs to do this, Caitlin Clark needs to do that, because the vampires are telling them, you better sell those cars. You better sell those other cars. That other car is going to sell. That Caitlin Clark Corvette is going to sell big time. But you better get your ass out there and you better sell the rest of this, because we need to make this money. We got a big deal coming up in 2026. We've given this league $2.2 billion and we need to make it back 4 or 5 times fold. And the only way we can do it is if you get out there and make it look like Angel Reese is a superstar. 2025 comes. The one that they have been touting for years is about to hit the league, Paige Bueckers. Now they are frantically in this year overdrive, selling everybody on the greatness of Paige Bueckers while not even saying anything about the attendance, her record, and that she's not going to be even in the playoffs. But I guarantee you, they will mention Paige Bueckers' name throughout the playoffs like she's playing. They are already actively comparing her at every point they can possibly do to Caitlin Clark, and that is the reason why, because they need a storyline. 2025 is basically like a transition year for the league, the media, and the players. if you wanna draw storylines, you got to do it this year. Last year they did the Angel Reese thing. Angel Reese came into this year; she was abysmal. But you have Caitlin Clark, and you have Paige Beckers. Paige Beckers is not the draw. She's a talented player, but she's not the draw of Caitlin Clark. The Paige Beckers Porsche, it looked good, it drive, but it ain't getting the viewership. But they're going to tell you that it's popular. The jersey sales for youth are exploding. You're going to see all this stuff about Paige Beckers coming out. She will be the unanimous Rookie of the Year. When she does get Rookie of the Year, it will not be given to her in the same fashion it was given to Caitlin Clark, which was highly disrespectful. It will be a grand showing, and it will be on ESPN because they're setting it up for next year when they have the Dallas Wings going at the Indiana Fever. They'll probably play 5 times next year because they'll be playing 50 games next year. Mark my words. It'll be a 50-game season. They're going to play 5 times. ESPN's going to make it the Paige versus Caitlin Clark, and then they will start going back to Paige Becker's junior year when they played I Win the Tournament, and that game got millions and millions of views. They're going to channel that and bring it to the WNBA to market it. Mark it down. That's what you're going to see going into next year. This year, that's what they're doing. Setting storylines and making that hero villain. And so the familiars that work at the network, all of them, the McNutts, the Carolyn Pecks, they're going to have to fall in line to gain favor. And they're going to have to sell that and spend that. So you're going to see a lot of that going forward. Even though some of the familiars like Carolyn Peck, she's loyal to Asia Wilson, she's still going to have to glaze Paige Beckers because that's what the Vampires want. If she wants to remain employed, she will have to do what the Vampires tell her to do. But that's the angle that ESPN is going to work. That's their part. That's how they're going to make their money. They're going to make the league look like it's well performing. But you got to ask yourself, you've never seen the ratings for a Chicago Sky versus Connecticut Sun game. You've never seen the ratings for a Connecticut Sun versus the Atlanta Dream. Never seen the ratings for those games. ESPN will hide their ratings unless it's Indiana Fever versus someone, because they don't want you to see the low numbers that these teams are putting out. It is some of the hardest information to find, but it's a reason, because they have to tell their investors this league is something that you should really show your advertising dollars. Mind you, you've never seen an alcoholic beverage commercial during any WNBA game. Ever. I've never seen a beer commercial. I've never seen XYZ, Weiser. I've never seen the Light, the Mountains. I've never seen any of those beer companies ever in a WNBA game. Ever. I haven't even seen a wine commercial during a WNBA game. It's mostly products that a man would not use, and some products a woman wouldn't even care about because she's not watching the game anyway. But they have to sell it and dress it up like it's bigger than what it is. And that's the part, that's the biggest piece of the whole thing. And it's actually a marketing strategy that's shared by all three. It's shared by the NBA, the WNBA, and the networks. They all work in unison because they're all basically vampires. So while you're watching sports for the next couple months and going forward, understand when you're watching TV, are you looking at a human, or are you watching a vampire, or are you looking at a familiar? Because there is no Blade. There's only familiars. And there's a lot of them. And they all have agendas. Like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, folks.